What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark, back from MovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about Andre is an Idiot, which sounds a lot like the lyrics to a song that's in Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1845, but uh, the Andre Isn't Here song. Um, just what I was thinking of when I heard, and I can hear the song sort of playing in my head. It's just a little weird music theater nerd thing. It's a documentary. It won the Audience Award at the 2025 for documentary feature at the 2025 Sundance Film Festival, and also the Editing Award at the 2025 festival as well, and spent 2025 sort of bouncing around various film festivals, winning prizes, making appearances. Finally circled back around in 2026, and it's now releasing. And after having seen it, I kind of see why they took the long route, because it must have been an interesting 2025 also for people who really dove into the documentary world to see this and Come See Me in the Good Light in the same festival. They're so close together in terms of like thematically what they are. Obviously, they have very different stylistic approaches to them, but Come See Me in the Good Light at least was able to premiere at the time with its subject matter was still alive and able to sort of celebrate um, that at the Sundance Film Festival, but not so much by the time it got its Oscar nomination for Best Documentary Feature. Whereas Andre as an Idiot has already had a different final decision on it. You can always look these things up on your own. That's the thing about documentaries, is they're things that actually happened in reality, so it's pretty easy to find out answers to things. But I don't plan on spoiling it for you. I'm just saying I kind of understand why one of them released in 2025 and the other one waited till 2026. It doesn't really mean that this is less of a film, but there are two films that are strikingly similar thematically and in their approach to try to really give a person a voice in their final days as they battle cancer, along with their loved ones by their side, the support of family and friends. And Andre sort of goes through this process, eventually, obviously, turning his diagnosis into a documentary. And he's surprised that he ended up getting a colonoscopy and finding out that he had stage 4 colon cancer. And he just thought, you know, nothing of it. When he was thinking about, should I get a colonoscopy, and went in there and they were like, well, there's a mass and we can't really even perform the colonoscopy, so we have to try to see if we can, what else we can do. And then he starts this chemo and he goes through a whole bunch of different things, thoughts about his life, how he lived it, what he might do, how he could still do something interesting and fun in death. He's a very quirky and interesting person to follow for a film, which is why I understand the desire to want to point a camera at him and have us follow, because even though you may not know Andre, who just came out of the advertising industry, he is engaging. For an individual, he's somebody who feels like he goes left and then right, just like all the time. Just, it's hard to hard to figure out where he's going. And you get that also from the interviews of his friends and family members. His kids seem to really adore him and adore the eccentricities. There's no audio description, but they do describe him as being like a big hairy man, like he looks almost homeless. And that came from one of the kids too, which I thought was funny. He has a wife that they started off in this really sort of interesting situation where, admittedly, and I hope nobody ever gets in trouble for this stuff, but they obviously ended up staying together, and you can't really call it a green card marriage if they stayed together and had kids, and you know, eh, but the intent was there to get her to stay in the country. He was willing to marry her and stay together for 2 years, um, and help her out so she could stay here. But then they ended up actually staying together, and they competed on the Newlywed Game, and which is interesting, sort of as a like on a lark, as a test run, because they believed that they needed to know as much about each other as possible so they could pass their um, interview, process. But uh, yeah, she's charming. I love the wife. I love the kids. He has a best friend here that refers to himself sort of almost like as a like a life partner, like a soulmate, but not not the same way, just two guys. And he mentioned the fact that he tried to get Andre to go in for a colonoscopy earlier, for couples colonoscopy, which is so funny when your best friend goes, "Hey, you want to do a couples colonoscopy?" And he turned it down, which is one of the things Andre kicks himself about, is that he had the opportunity to do it and then didn't. So that's why the thing is kind of Andre's an idiot. And it's a celebration of Andre's life, and who Andre was as a person, and sort of this beautiful thing that comes out of this terrible diagnosis. And it's quirky and uplifting and funny at times, and it's heartfelt and um, emotionally taxing in others. It really runs the gamut, especially toward the end. I didn't get it with audio description. I just kind of assume nowadays that that's like more likely than not. We have fairly major films releasing into theaters that don't have audio description. The self-distributed Iron Lung that everybody's going crazy about. That guy did not bother to do it. And Liam Neeson's newest movie, Cold Storage, has no audio description. So it's just what Andre is an idiot's going. I'm not surprised anymore. But um, maybe it has it. Maybe it will have it. That also happens to me a lot, where it's just like an accessible screener thing. But it would only happen. It really only affected me in that there were some times where I felt like there was text on screen and we were missing it, like text that connected one scene to another to show like the advancement of time, those kind of things. Possibly at the end of the film, because the film kind of does end, and I think there's probably text that wraps it up as we go into that song that plays over the credits. So, but I liked it. I liked Andre as an Idiot. I think I like Come See Me in the Good Light a little bit more. I mean, that was just for me um such like an emotional experience. I felt so much from that film. Andre, because it takes a little bit more of a quirky approach to it, ends up being a little bit more entertaining for people who need a little bit more of that on the palette in order to be able to watch a documentary about terminal cancer. But they're both strong documentaries, though. So for Andre's an Idiot, I wish it all the best. And I, I don't know what people like. What do you come at it and you go, oh well, there wasn't enough of this, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't think they went into this thinking, oh, let's make a documentary, and then whoops, like let's make a documentary about Andre, and then turns out, oh, Andre has cancer, so we'll make a documentary about Andre having cancer. Sometimes that happens where they're making a documentary about somebody and the real documentary sort of evolves and finds itself. I don't think that happened here. So I think they turned on the cameras at a certain point, and then they tried to get the footage that they could, and had sort of a limited amount of time in which to do it. Likely in and around the good and the bad days. That's the reality of it. So they admittedly couldn't get certain people to show up for the documentary. Like his dad is not in the documentary, so they hired Tommy Chung to pop in for a second, which is kind of clever, because they say it's a lot that they think Tommy Chung reminds him a lot of his dad. So, uh, yeah, I think probably, um, any, if you feel like there isn't enough of something there, it's like maybe they didn't have enough time, maybe they didn't get that grace given to them. So it is kind of all about when you turn the camera on and how much you can get in a given period of time. When you're trying to tell a narrative story about a fight over a period of time, sometimes that fight is not as long as you would like it to be. So, because you're not as there, you didn't turn on the cameras quick enough, and it's not as long as maybe you hope it would be. So, I'm gonna give Andre's India a 9.1 out of 10. I like this documentary, and I wish it all the best. Um, I do prefer Come See Me in the Good Night, which I scored a little bit higher, but they're both kind of the same, and both people are now represented forever in film. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.